All right, just getting the parts out of the shed, and you can see it's got a nice coat of red paint on there, so it's not gonna get all rusty. Painted the brackets. Let me go grab the other box that's in the she shed. And the first thing that we're gonna do is to remove the battery before we start. Right. In this box, it has the rest of the hardware. It has a new wiring harness. And yep, hardware. And the thing that will strap to the coil, the ignition. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, so we're going to start the tractor 12-volt conversion. And the first thing that we want to do is disconnect the battery. We're changing from a 6-volt over to 12-volt, pulling off the generator, putting an alternator on. So hopefully she starts much easier here in the upcoming weeks. 6-volt, you know, even though it was a brand new battery, brand new everything, kind of slow to roll over. So you know, you throw the 12-volt jump pack to her, right to the starter, and she fired up before you could even get the jumper cables off of it. So this is a positive ground. We'll be switching back over, you know, to negative ground, positive. And so let me get this out and we'll go from there. And even though the battery is stone dead because there was some kind of draw on this system, I'm not taking any chances that it could zap me. So still using caution. All right, well, that's going to be a little tricky. Man, has anybody seen the price of automotive batteries nowadays? Good Lord, we thought eggs were expensive. You're looking at $100 just for a battery now. It was crazy. Kind of sucks. This battery's only a year and a half old, but hey, it is what it is. Can't dwell. We're improving it. That's what we're doing. So, all right. So I guess next is we're going to start unbolting the generator on the other side, and we'll go from there. All right. So it comes with a brand new harness. These 3 wires, which, you know, is probably pretty good because this is probably the original wiring harness. And I'm not really sure why I didn't replace that when I redid the tractor. You know, it was kind of foolish, but I was also working on a budget. Then again, the wiring harness wasn't really a big, you know, it wasn't going to set me back. It was only like $40, but again, I stuck with the budget to make sure everything was working before dumping a lot of money into it. So we'll go ahead and we'll get these wires off if I can find the right size. Now that we have our battery out. Now, I haven't read the directions fully yet, so I might not take these off quite yet just to make sure what they go to. Actually, the new alternator is a 1 wire, so it's just a charge wire. So we'll get all these off. So, all right. Hardest thing is trying to find the correct size for stuff. Okay. Now we'll just loosen that up. And again, too big. Okay. Five eighths. Oh, do not pass go. Oh, it goes. All right. All right, so we got that loosened up. And get all those washers off, get that bolt. I don't know what we're replacing it with as far as the new brackets. I feel like there's another bracket here holding this on, and there is. All right. I remembered last year because I forgot to tighten them when I redid it. Okay. So far, she's been a pretty good tractor. I mean, keep in mind, you know, she's 50, 60, 70 years old. So, she's definitely had a long life, and she's still going. I mean, there's going to be things that aren't going to work correctly or drip a little oil or whatever, but I think that's to be expected. That's for sure. You know, can't be mad at her. Good Lord, this girl's heavy. And that's when I should have taken the wires off. I'll do that now while it's still being held up. And you can see the old wiring harness is kind of frayed. It could have been why she really wasn't charging. I mean, she would charge at times. You can see it on the meter. But the biggest thing wasn't that she wasn't charging or whatever, but the frustrating thing was hard start or slow start. And then that parasitic draw. So come back out, try to find a 6-volt battery charger was just becoming a headache. All right. Yeah, and here she is. 20 pounds later. Good Lord. All right, well, be right back. Well, as far as the instructions go, yeah, I guess they have a good what goes where and blah blah blah, but I'm trying to figure out the brackets. Disconnect battery cable. That is a must. Remove existing generator. All mounting brackets and wiring that connects. Okay. Install alternator mounts. Install alternator. Oh shit. Alright, well let me take the other brackets off and see where it takes me. I don't know if I'm gonna need that hardware or not, so I'm gonna hold on to it before I box it up with the old part. Yeah, wasn't very tight. Guess it came loose. I guess I should do a once over again. Make sure everything is still pretty tight. Alright, so all the brackets are off. Okay, now we just got to figure out how the new one goes on. So I'm actually going to use the hardware from the old setup. Here's the bracket for the new one. Basically, well, I don't know if it's going to go. Well, can't go that way because that would hit the manifold. So we are going to just hand tighten it there. And then we have this one. Wouldn't go that direction, so we're just going to hand tighten it over here. Why do I have two bolts? Did I? Oh, it's right here. All right. Man, the color's really faded over the past year. I don't really keep it inside. I don't really have any room at the moment with everything in the barn with campers and stuff like that. Slowly, we're getting there. Alright, so let me just pick all this up and then we'll figure out how that thing bolts on. Alright, we're good there. Grab our hardware. Alright, so let's just set this right here. And I didn't spray the hardware. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up touching it up. I think we'll put the Alright, I think we're gonna be good there. Hopefully I can get this nut on there and tighten her up a little bit. May have to do it with the lock washer off first just to bend the bracket in. So they give us two extra bolts. Obviously one is going to connect onto, oh actually no, I take that back. I had reused the one that came from Ford. So the other one, I just got to figure out which thread goes on to the alternator bracket. It's going to be the bigger one. And might be the smaller one. Okay. Yep. All right. So we need that. Put that on. Put that on. All right. Cool. Kind of setting up the she shed with all our tools and stuff. Well, I think I have it on backwards, folks. Have it upside down, I guess. How can that be? All right. Well, shoot. All right, stand by. Well, we pretty much just about have it installed. The only thing that I kind of see that kind of drives me crazy is, and then again, it might just, once this belt wears in, it just looks like this is offset just by a couple millimeters. And if anybody knows, if a belt is off on a pulley, eventually it's going to have premature failure. But I took the pry bar, got the belt, got some tension on it, and I'm just going to tighten her up. All right, and that's that. Now it's time to run the new harness, and well, we can't fire her up because I don't have a battery. Well, I do in the side-by-side, but the clutch is supposed to be here tomorrow anyway, so we'll see what happens. I'd like to get it fired up, but again, I got the mower deck sitting on jack stands while being worked on, and I don't want any movement. So all right, let's go to the other side. All right, so this kit came with all the wiring harnesses, came with the 12-volt conversion for the ignition coil. It looks like I'll be bolting it on. Looks like on one of those brackets. I'll figure that one out. It's got the little jumper. Looks like it has the jumper leads right here. Yep. And yeah, so let me just snip this wire. This wire was chewed up last year from the cows vandalizing my tractor while having a little downtime by the stream. They chewed all my wires, and I had to makeshift something when I was down there to get it back up here. So I don't know if I'm going to go as far as fixing this connector and going back to where it joins, but for now we're just going to install everything that we got, and then we'll fix the necessary stuff later. All right, so the wiring is taking me just a little bit longer than normal. I was trying to relocate this down here, closer to the coil, but this is where it worked out. I had to turn this coil around because it was backwards, just a little stuff. So anyway, I'm back in here, and I got the wire on the alternator, and I'm running up, and I'm just putting on the amp meter, and then we should be pretty much good to go at this point. So I might pull the battery out of the side-by-side and put it here, or just put the battery charger on here, and then turn the key and see if everything powers up and nothing goes up in smoke and so forth. So all right, stand by. And that's a wrap, guys, on the 1953 Golden Jubilee. So all I did was convert it to a 12-volt system, ran a new wire back up to the amp meter, and had to install this little junction block coming off of the coil. Just hooked the battery charger up just to make sure everything was good. I have a key. When you turn it on, it lights up the dash LED, so I know that everything is good to go at that point. So just got to get a battery for it, break out the pressure washer, give this girl a bath, and then get the mower deck back up and going. So that is it on the 12-volt conversion. It took a little longer than I expected, but hey, I'm not on the clock. I'm just taking my time, and there we have it. So it's almost time to get back out mowing. So until next time, Dave, Rolling Springs Ranch.